Hello, friends. Today I'm going to talk about the Convention on Facilitation of International Maritime Traffic, which was adopted on 9th of April 1965 and came into force on 5th of March 1967. And I would also be covering the topic of stowaway, what you need to know for examination purpose and practical purpose on board a ship. Let's get started. The objective of FAL Convention was to prevent unnecessary delay in maritime traffic, to aid cooperation between governments, and to secure the highest practical degree of uniformity in formalities and other procedures. It was felt that international maritime transport was being subjected to overregulation, causing a delay and a lack of streamlining through the whole documentation process. The general structure of the FAL Convention is as shown. There are basically 16 articles and one annex. The articles contain inter alia general provisions, the scope of the convention, and the notification and entry into force requirement. The annex of the FAL Convention contains standard and recommended practices on formality, documentary requirements, and procedures, which should be applied on arrival, departure, and during the stay. The annex contains around 7 chapters and 2 appendices, each having standard and recommended practices. Standard means something that they have to comply with, and in case they find it difficult to comply with these standard regulations, then the contracting government must inform the Secretary General of IMO why there is a difference in the practices. And recommended practices are basically the practices which are desirable as per the convention. Sometimes the examiner may ask which convention gives recommendation to deal with stowaways. And many a times we have this urge to say it's ISPS code because there has been a security breach. However, the right answer is FAL Convention. This gives you all the recommendations and standards to be maintained to deal with these stowaways. The FAL Convention has promulgated various circulars to deal with the situation of stowaway on board for all the parties involved, like flag state, port state, ship master, owner, etc. Another question that the examiner may ask is what is the recent amendment to FAL Convention? So the latest one was 2016. It was adopted on 8th of April 2016 and came into force on 1st January 2018. The first amendment is about new definitions for CTU, freight containers, ISPS code, master, ship, agent, shipper, and single window. Then the second amendment was that from 9th April 2019, there is an electronic exchange of information which is mandatory with a transition period of not less than 12 months. And the third amendment is about revision of IMO fall forms. And the last is about additional guarantees relating to the shore leave of crew members. Next topic we are going to discuss is about stowaways. Stowaway is defined in the FAL Convention as a person who is secreted on a ship or in cargo which is subsequently loaded on the ship without the consent of ship owner or the master or any other responsible person, and who is detected on board the ship after it has departed from a port or in the cargo while unloading it in the port of arrival, and is reported as a stowaway by the master to the appropriate authorities. So basically, if a person comes on board secretly without the consent of any responsible person and he is discovered much later after the ship has departed the port of his embarkation, that person is considered stowaway, and it is master's responsibility to declare him as a stowaway. There are various reasons why people come on board as a stowaway, and the most common ones are looking for a better life in the country of destination, asylum seekers, or just an escape. No matter what the reason, it becomes really difficult for the master of the ship once a stowaway is there on board, as there are very few countries who would accept a stowaway. So, in many cases, a stowaway is stuck on board a ship for a very, very long time. For a very long time, the FAL Convention has put many efforts into it. As you can see the graph, the number of incidents over the year have reduced a lot. and the total cost has gone down per stowaway. Per the recommendation of FAL Convention, now a database is maintained for each country from where stowaways can be expected and what all nationalities they probably belong to, so that the red ports are highlighted and the ships take extra precaution when visiting such high risk ports. As you can see from the diagram, ports like Nigeria, Ghana are high risk for carrying a stowaway on board. For examination purpose, it would be prudent to remember the Assembly Resolution number 871 of Session 20 of Fall 42 circular, because this gives you the basic principles on how to deal with a stowaway on board. If you are asked a question like, what will you do if you have a stowaway on board as a master? Then, if you just mention these two circulars, then they know that you are aware of where to find the information. So, the basic principles are: the stowaway must be dealt with humanely while considering the operational safety and security of the ship. The public authorities and port authorities and ship owner should cooperate with each other. Security measures on board a ship and at the port must be available to detect and avoid a stowaway on board. Proper rounds and searches must be made to avoid a stowaway on board. Then, public authorities, port authorities, ship owner, and master should cooperate fully to resolve the stowaway situation as soon as possible. The stowaway arriving at a country or a state without the proper documents as an illegal entrant, the decision of dealing with such situation is the prerogative of the state to which such arrival or entry occurs. Stowaway who is seeking asylum must be treated as per the local law. Every effort must be made to avoid a situation where the stowaway is detained on board indefinitely. Country of citizenship of the stowaway must accept him back, and where the country of citizenship cannot be established, then the state of the original port of embarkation of the stowaway should accept the return of such a stowaway for examination pending final case disposition. Now, there could be a question like, if a stowaway has no travel documents or other means of identification, what will you do as a master? Then the answer to that is a full set of fingerprints, 3 passport-size photos, a sworn affidavit by the stowaway explaining how he came on board, his motives for stowing, an extract from the logbook explaining how, when, where the stowaway was discovered, and the completed form available in Annex 1 of FAL Convention. Most common question on stowaway is, as a master, if you are at sea and you discover a stowaway on board, what will you do? So you can start with the recommendations of Assembly Resolution 871, and same recommendation is available on FAL 42/10/1. So basically, treat him humanly, collect all the evidences, make logbook entries, and the most important point, which many of us forget, is make another search to ensure there are no more stowaways present on board. Then the reporting to all the interested parties will start: owner, PNI club, next port of call, last port of call, everyone. Another common question is about the stowaway focal point, and the answer to that is, on recommendation of Intertanko and Intercargo, IMO opened a stowaway focal point to provide guidance to the master and ship owner to deal with a stowaway. It's like a helpline number where master or ship owner can call. The stowaway focal point will assist master to deal with stowaway handling and procedure for repatriation. They also provide diplomatic assistance to ship owners by engaging with custom and immigration authorities where stowaways need to be disembarked. The Resolution 871 also covers the responsibility of a master, ship owner, flag state in such situations. So you can always say that I'll refer that. I hope this video was useful for you and it solved your purpose. Thank you for watching.